I've been woken up in the middle of the night by the click of a door handle that wasn't mine to turn. I felt my breath in the dark, my heart pounding a rhythm against my ribs that's louder than the engine, praying that whoever is out there just moves on. And I have. I have moved on. I've also seen the sun rise over the Grand Canyon from this very seat, painting the entire world in shades of orange and pink you only ever see in movies. I have felt the deep, bone-rattling satisfaction of backing a 53-foot trailer perfectly into a dock that a dozen other drivers gave up on. As a woman behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler is a life of wild contrasts. It's a constant, dizzying dance between fear and freedom, between deep loneliness and incredible independence. Most people see the truck, the cargo, the highway stretching into forever. They see a job. But for the small fraction of us who are women, it's about so much more. The latest numbers show that women make up about 9.5% of all professional truck drivers. It's a unique workplace culture, a challenging lifestyle, and a world of personal safety realities that most people can't even begin to imagine. In this video, I'm not going to give you the polished, corporate recruitment version of trucking. I'm going to give you the truth. My truth. This is an inside look at the good, the bad, and the very, very ugly of my life on the open road. I often get asked why I traded an office chair for a driver's seat. And I've got to be honest, I have a lot of reasons. I do. But before the smell of diesel and the endless white lines of the highways that became my life, my world was typically beige. It was the color of the walls in the retail store, the lukewarm coffee in my mug, and the soul-crushing routine that defined my days. I was an assistant manager at a retail pharmacy, and my biggest decision of the day was usually whether to restock the aisles or hire more people. My view was a window that looked out onto a parking lot, and my greatest adventure was fighting rush hour traffic to get back to an apartment that felt just as beige as my store. I was safe, I was comfortable, and I was slowly, quietly suffocating. I craved something more, but I had no idea what. I just knew I couldn't find it in that environment. The idea of trucking didn't hit me like a lightning bolt. Honestly, it was more like a slow burn. I'd see them on the highways during my commutes, these massive, powerful machines gliding past my tiny little car, and I'd feel a pang of something I couldn't name. It looked like freedom. It looked like a purpose. The final push came after a really tough week of pointless deadlines and office drama. I went home, opened my laptop. I typed "how to become a truck driver" into the search bar. I found a world of opportunity. The industry was facing a massive driver shortage. Companies were desperate for people during that time. So I did it. I quit my base job, cashed in some of my meager savings, and I enrolled in a CDL training school. Walking into that training yard for the first time felt like stepping onto another planet. The air smelled of diesel and hot asphalt. The ground vibrated with rumbling engines. And I was, to absolutely no one's surprise, one of only 2 women in a class of 20. The other woman, a tough-as-nails grandma named Sharon, gave me a knowing nod on day 1, which was a silent acknowledgement of the road we were both about to take. The first time I climbed into the cab of a full-size rig, my hands were shaking. It felt less like a vehicle and more like a building on wheels. Everything was bigger, louder, and more intimidating than I could have imagined. My instructor, a grizzled vet named Hank, with a mustache that had probably seen more miles than I had, just grunted and said she doesn't bite, but she'll buck you if you don't show her who's boss. Those weeks of training were a blur of highs and lows. I was so excited and did certain things really well, like shifting gears. But I also struggled on others, like the pre-trip inspection portion for the test. My leg was aching from the heavy clutch. I knocked over more orange cones than I can count trying to learn how to back. And there were moments of sheer panic, like my first time merging onto a busy interstate. The truck feeling like a lumbering giant surrounded by angry hornets. But there were also moments of pure magic. The first time I successfully hit a 90-degree alley dock. Hank's rare smile felt like winning an Olympic medal. I felt a peace I hadn't felt in years. I was learning more than just how to operate a machine. I was learning a new language, a new culture, a new way of seeing the world. I was learning to be self-reliant in a way my previous jobs never demanded. Out here, there's no IT department to call. It's you, the truck, and the problem. You learn to troubleshoot. You learn to think on your feet, and also to be resourceful. I was building a kind of confidence I never knew I had. It wasn't just about driving. It was about commanding this 80,000-pound beast and making it an extension of my own will. It was empowering. I knew the statistics at the time. Recent data from the Women in Trucking Association showed a drop in the percentage of female drivers to 9.5%. A dip that some experts attribute to things like a lack of quality childcare and ongoing safety concerns. I would come to understand those concerns on a deeply personal level. But in that moment, graduating with my CDL in hand, all I could feel was the pull of the horizon. I traded my beige store for a window that stretched from coast to coast. I was terrified, and I had never been more excited in my entire life. So let's talk about the good stuff. Because despite everything, there is so much good. If there wasn't, none of us would do it. You can't survive out here on grit alone. You have to be fueled by the moments of pure, unfiltered joy. The reason most of us are out here is freedom. And that's not some abstract concept. It's the air you breathe. Freedom is a full tank of gas, a good set of tires, and 1,000 miles of open road stretched out in front of you. It's no boss hovering over your shoulder, no pointless meetings, and the liberty of being the captain of your own ship. My cab is my office, my kitchen, my living room, and my sanctuary. I decide when to stop for coffee, what I listen to for 10 hours straight, and when to pull over just to watch a storm roll in across the plains. That level of autonomy is intoxicating. It's a huge responsibility, but it's a liberating one. Then there's the financial independence. Let's be blunt. This job can pay very well. It's hard work, but it's work that's valued. And like I said, your paycheck is determined by the miles you run and the freight you haul. For so many women, trucking is a real path to financial security. It allowed me to go from living paycheck to paycheck to actually building a savings account, something I only dreamed of in my old life. And job security is huge. As long as people need things, they'll need trucks to deliver them. We are, quite literally, the lifeblood of the economy. There is a quiet pride in that. And of course, there's my view. My office window is bigger than any corner office I could ever imagine. I've seen things people spend thousands on vacation to get a quick glimpse of. I've driven through the fiery red rock canyons of Utah at dusk, the landscape looking like the surface of Mars. I've watched the sunrise over the misty Appalachian Mountains, the valleys filled with a sea of white clouds. I've seen bald eagles soaring over the Mississippi River, and herds of antelope racing my truck in Wyoming. These aren't just pictures. They are vivid memories etched into my mind. You develop a deep, intimate relationship with the geography of this country. You don't just see America. You experience it in a way that is raw, unfiltered, and deeply personal. There's also a profound sense of skill that comes with this job. There is nothing like the feeling of mastering this machine. A perfectly executed pre-trip inspection, knowing every inch of your rig, the intense focus of navigating a blizzard over a mountain pass, hands steady on the wheel. And the ultimate test, backing. Nailing a blindside dock in a chaotic shipping yard on your first try is a moment of pure victory. You see other drivers watching and you get that nod of respect. Not because you're a woman, but because you are a driver who knows their craft. And that's another part of the good in this industry. Women in this industry are often recognized for our strengths. Industry insiders and studies have noted that female drivers tend to be more patient, focused, and meticulous. We're also statistically safer drivers. A study by the American Transportation Research Institute found that women are significantly less likely to have convictions for things like reckless driving or speeding. We're not out here to fill a seat. Many of us are raising the bar for professionalism in the industry. Finally, there's the people you meet. While the job is isolating, there are moments of connection that shine. The kindly old security guard in Ohio who always has hot coffee ready for drivers. The other female driver you meet at a fuel island who shares a tip about the best place to park up ahead. The dispatcher who actually treats you like a human being. These moments might be small, but they are buoys in a vast ocean of solitude, reminding you that you're part of a massive web of people keeping the country moving. These are the days you remember when the bad times come rolling in. And believe me, they always do. Now let's talk about the other side of the coin. The part that doesn't make it into the recruitment brochures. This is the part that tests you, it breaks you, and if you survive it, forges you into something stronger. We have to talk about the bad and the ugly. And for women, the ugly comes first because it's the most dangerous part of our reality, which is personal safety. Let's go back to that hand on my door handle. That wasn't a one-time thing. It's a fear that lives in the back of my mind every single time I shut down for the night. As a woman alone in a truck, you are a target. You are seen as vulnerable, and there are predators that see that as an invitation. The single greatest barrier keeping more women from this job is safety. It's the constant, low-grade anxiety that never really goes away. It starts with parking. For most people, a truck stop is just a place to get fuel. For us, it's our home for the night. But finding a safe, well-lit spot is a nightly battle. The truck parking shortage across the country often forces us into unsafe places. A dark corner of an industrial park, the shoulder of an on-ramp, or some dirt lot with no lights and no security. Sleeping in these places feel like you're a goldfish in a bowl. Every shadow, every car that slows down, every footstep sends a jolt of adrenaline through you. You learn to sleep with one ear open, your phone is in hand, and something heavy is within arm's reach. And then there is the harassment. It's not always violent. Often, it's a death by 1,000 cuts. It's the leering of stares as you walk across the fuel island. It's the shipper who looks past you and asks, "Where's the driver?" It's the comments on the CB radio, which is a tool that should be used for safety, but is often a cesspool of idiocy. Even basic needs like using a restroom become a strategic nightmare. Finding a clean, safe bathroom is a constant struggle. I've walked into restrooms that look like they hadn't been cleaned in a decade, with broken locks on the stall doors. You learn to plan your entire day around access to a decent bathroom. It's a daily indignity that male drivers just don't have to think about. Beyond the physical threat is the bad. The relentless grind and crushing isolation. This job is lonely. It's a soul-deep loneliness that's hard to describe. You're in a metal box for up to 11 hours a day, sometimes for weeks. You miss everything. Birthdays, holidays, weddings, your kids' school play. You watch life happen from your phone. FaceTime helps, but it's a poor substitute for a real hug. This isolation can lead to a serious mental health struggles like depression and anxiety. The lifestyle is also brutal on your body. You are sitting for hours, which can lead to back problems. Healthy food on the road is rare. It's a landscape of fast food chains and junk food. Trying to eat healthy takes a level of planning that's incredibly difficult at times. Your sleep schedule is all over the place. You might drive all night and try to sleep during the day with the sun beating down and the noise of the lot all around you. The combination of sitting, bad food, and weird sleep takes a heavy toll. And then there's the stress of the job itself. It's a deadline ticking down while you're stuck in traffic. It's waiting for hours unpaid at a shipper. It's navigating a tight city street designed 100 years ago before your 75-foot-long vehicle even existed. It's the terror of hitting black ice in the mountains, feeling the trailer start to slide. It's the breaking down in the middle of nowhere. It's dealing with a dispatcher who sees you as a unit number and not a person. This is the reality. This is the ugly truth. The ugly truth is that you live with a baseline of fear all the time. The bad news is that the job does take a toll on your body, your mind, and your relationship. It demands immense sacrifice. This is the price of admission for the freedom of the open road. So now that we've gone through the good and the bad and ugly, how do I survive and thrive? Living through all of this isn't about just gritting your teeth and bearing it. That is definitely a recipe for burnout. Surviving and actually thriving out here is about being smart. It's about creating a personal set of rules to navigate the dangers and make life easier. It's a conscious effort to carve out a space of safety and sanity in a world not always built for you. My number one rule is safety first. I practice information lockdown. I will never tell strangers I'm alone. I will always say my brother, my husband, my team driver. He's always, quote unquote, just in the sleeper or making a call. I project the image of not being an easy target. My curtains go up the second I park, and they don't come down until morning. I double check every lock, and if I feel like I'm in a really shady area, I will usually wrap the seatbelt around the doors. It's basically a simple trick where you can run the seatbelt through the interior door handle, and then you buckle it. Parking is a strategic mission. I typically use apps like Trucker Path to plan my stops hours ahead. I usually aim for mom and pops. I make sure that they have good lighting and cameras. I'll always pay for a reserved spot in a safe place rather than park in some sketchy lot to save a few bucks. I am very hyper aware of my surroundings. When I get out of my truck, my phone is away, my head is up, and I also walk with a purpose. This is not about being paranoid. It's about being present and projecting confidence. In order to fight loneliness, I've had to build a mobile support system. Technology is my lifeline. I have scheduled video calls with family and friends that are non-negotiable. Seeing their faces keeps me grounded. I'm also a huge fan of podcasts and audiobooks. They fill the cab with stories and make it feel less empty. But the most important network is the one I've built with other women in the industry. Organizations like the Women in Trucking Association have been invaluable for finding resources and community. I also have a group chat with other female drivers, and it's a constant source of advice, support, and humor. That sisterhood is definitely priceless. Managing the physical and mental grind is a daily battle. I had to decide to stop eating like I was on a permanent road trip, which was very difficult when I first started. My truck did come with a small fridge and a microwave, which is good. So now a big part of my routine when I take a break or go on a 34-hour reset is essentially trying to buy more groceries to have in the truck with me. It is more work, but it does make a huge difference. I also force myself to move, which some days is very difficult because you're exhausted. Even if it's just 15 minutes of stretching or walking laps around the truck stop, it breaks the cycle of sitting all day, essentially. Dealing with the bad side of the industry required me to develop a professional shell. I learned to be polite but firm. I learned my competence is my best defense. For example, when a shipper condescendingly explains how to back into a dock, I just smile and say thank you, and then put my trailer in the door perfectly on the first try, because I am that kind of stubborn woman. And yeah, it's kind of I don't know, maybe a toxic trait. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I do. Finally, a critical factor is finding the right company. This will make or break you in the industry. And this is not just for women either. This is for men as well. It's a long road, but progress is happening. Thriving out here is about controlling what you can, building systems to protect yourself from what you can't, and finding the strength to keep rolling. So that's just a basic breakdown of my life on 18 wheels. It's a pendulum, swinging between the freedom of the open road and the stark realities of the dangers it demands. It's the beauty of a desert sunset and the fear of a hand on your door in the night. It's not a job for the faint of heart, and it's definitely not the romantic adventure it's often made out to be. But it is a life of incredible substance. It has taught me what I am truly made of. It has shown me the vast, beautiful, complicated fabric of this country, and it has given me a sense of self-reliance that no office job ever could. For any woman watching this and thinking about this life, my advice is this: do not walk in blind. Do your research. Understand the challenges. Talk to other women who are doing this job. Know that you will be tested. You will have to be strong, smart, and your own fiercest advocate. The road is an unforgiving teacher, but its lessons are powerful. I believe the future for women in this industry is bright. The conversation is changing. Companies are starting to get that making trucking safer and more inclusive for women isn't just the right thing to do. It's essential for the industry's survival. The women out here right now are part of that change. Every mile we drive safely, every load we deliver on time, we are paving the way for the women who will come in after us. We are proving day by day that we don't just belong in this industry, we are essential to it. This is my story, but it's just one of thousands. To say that yes, there are some bad people in this industry, both male and female. Most of the guys out here are good men. There have been several guys that have walked me out to my truck because there was some creepy dude inside that was following me around and harassing me. With that being said, make sure that if you did find this valuable, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments below as well. I will be more than happy to talk to any of you that might be thinking about getting into the industry. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit like, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next episode.